Welcome to episode 51, the truth about immigrant children in cages at the border. Before we get started, I want to ask you to do me a favor and share the show. If you're on Facebook or Twitter and the topics such as immigrant children held in concentration camps comes up, or abortion, or Social Security, if any of those things come up, please share the topic-specific Truth Quest episode with your debate partner. If you're listening to this on the Apple Podcast app, please take a minute and scroll down on the podcast page and give it a 5-star rating. Another way you can help grow the show is to throw a small donation my way at the Truth Quest podcast patronage page. See this episode's show notes page at truthquest.podbean.com for that link. The easiest way to stay up to date on the podcast is to subscribe to it on iTunes or Google Play Music. It's also available on Stitcher, Spotify, and Podbean. And the YouTube channel, of course, has been updated with topic-specific playlists. Check that out. And finally, please join the conversation on Facebook at facebook.com/TruthQuestPodcast. Today is going to be a short, quick-hitting episode. This topic has been bothering me for several months, but there just isn't much to it, so I've avoided creating an entire episode on it. But given my desire to make these episodes evergreen, meaning they are as relevant today as they are a year from now or 5 years from now, I thought I'd better record it. Coming off the heels of episode 50, where I discussed the ramifications of politicians who are not driven by principles, I couldn't resist recording this episode. To say the 20 or so people currently running for the Democratic nomination for president are disingenuous is redundant. But when it comes to the stance on illegal immigration, the National Democrats have decided that the best policy is no policy. Open borders is their prescription. Amnesty and eventually voting rights is their end game. National sovereignty means nothing to these people because, as I pointed out in episode 50, the only thing that really matters to these folks is winning, regardless of the cost. In this case, the costs are enormous. Regardless, they are willing to expose the country to a European-style immigration model in order to win elections. As I've pointed out in other episodes, the immigrant community, especially illegal immigrant community, is ripe for the Democrats' message. You know the one, whereby they carve the electorate up into a bunch of perceived aggrieved groups, promise them a bunch of free stuff, and then claim that the nasty and dastardly Republicans are going to take it all away. Voila! Another permanent voting bloc for the tolerant and inclusive Democrats. Hell, these folks even oppose a citizenship question on the upcoming census because it would preclude their efforts to pack certain blue regions of the country with illegal immigrants in order to maintain or grow the Democrats' congressional representation. See, millions of sane, legal citizens from many of these loony, left-leaning states to other states that don't choke them with suffocating taxes and regulations. They are moving to states with lower taxes or no income tax in the case of Florida and Texas. They are moving to states with less burdensome regulations that actually encourage small business, to states where they do not burden the taxpayer by welcoming illegal immigrants with offerings of welfare benefits, health care, and driver's license. Not to mention the financial burden on society as a whole with the cost of police and fire protection and the educating of children of illegal immigrants. I lay all that out as groundwork for this episode's topic, that being the Democrats' consistent refrain that President Trump is putting immigrant children in cages, or as brain-dead former bartender turned congressman and socialist-in-chief Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez claims, concentration camps. So what is the truth about this claim of putting kids in cages at the border? The truth is that the National Democrats are liars and panderers. This particular lie is simply another part of their party over principle tactics discussed in episode 50. According to Thomas Homan, Obama's Executive Associate Director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement for almost 4 years, from 2013 through 2017, he said this, quote, "I've been to that facility where they talk about cages. That facility was built under President Obama under Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson. I was there because I was there when it was built," end quote. As Dana Carvey's church lady character from Saturday Night Live said many years ago, well, isn't that special? So the so-called cages were built by the Obama administration. Well, I wonder what Elizabeth Warren et al. Had to say about that. Did they bludgeon Obama over the policy? Nah, of course not, because they are driven by party, not principle. Party, not principles. See, if you follow their illogic, it goes something like this. Putting children in chain-linked fence areas that resemble cages is bad. Therefore, it would follow that when a Democrat administration put children in chain-link fenced areas that resemble cages, they would decry its practice. But instead, they bludgeon a Republican administration for doing the same damn thing that a Democrat one did. I know, everyone knows the National Democrats are a bunch of conniving liars, but what is the deal with these detention centers or concentration camps? The truth is explained in 3 sentences by the same Obama administration official, Thomas Homan. He said the Border Patrol facilities where illegal immigrants are detained, quote, were not built to take care of children, end quote. Then he added, quote, it's chain-link dividers that keep children separate from unrelated adults. It's about protecting children, end quote. Trump wants to protect children? That can't be. Again, following the Democrats' illogic, you can only arrive at the conclusion that they would rather the children in these facilities be commingled with the adult population. Seems a bit dangerous, but who am I to second-guess the do-gooding Democratic elites? Did you know that Obama said the following? So that our direct message to the families of Central America: do not send your children to the borders. If they make it, they'll get sent back. More importantly, they may not make it, end quote. Did you know that Obama said the following in an address to the nation in November of 2014? Quote, even as we are a nation of immigrants, we are also a nation of laws. Undocumented workers broke immigration laws, and I believe that they must be held accountable, especially those who may be dangerous, end quote. Well, shit, that sounds like Trump. Did you know that Trump, not Obama, signed an executive order, number 41, ordering that detained families not be separated unless the parents pose a danger to the child? Probably depends on where you get your news, whether you heard that or not. I doubt a LexisNexis search on the order would get many hits on CNN or MSNBC, Washington Post, Huffington Post, or any other lamestream media outlets. Did you know that Obama had this to say about America's broken immigration system? Quote, the actions I'm taking are not only lawful, but they're the kind of actions taken by every single Republican president and every single Democratic president for the past half century. To those members of Congress who question my authority to make our immigration system work better, or question the wisdom of me acting where Congress has failed, I have one answer: pass a bill, end quote. So again, we have another piece of evidence about the inherent dishonest nature of the National Democratic Party. These folks have proven time and time again to be dishonest, deceitful, conniving, and dangerous. This is just another brick in that wall. Please join the conversation at facebook.com/TruthQuest podcast.